Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're waiting with bated breath to find out who gets to crash on Nilly's couch as champion of NAC 5. And until we find out who that person is, we are going to watch Kasva playing as the Persians in red take on MbL playing as the Ethiopians in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables explore their immediate surroundings with all matter of gobble gobble and scouts and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, why don't we take an opportunity to look at the civilizations we will be watching today. Now, the Persians are an economic juggernaut with a tech tree that is incredibly strong and diverse. In addition to getting access to all of the economic upgrades available in the game, they do start with 50 extra food and 50 extra wood, and their town centers work progressively faster starting right in the beginning of the game. They work 5% faster in Dark Age, all the way up to 20% faster in Imperial. Now, they can also be a pain in the ass to raid because their town centers do come with twice the amount of HP. Take a look, 4,800 HP compared to the usual 2,400. And in addition to that, man, oh man, are they hard to raid because their castles can now be upgraded to not only take less bonus damage, but to also fire bullets instead of arrows, which come with an attack bonus against rams and infantry. Now, using their economic advantages, the Persians do focus heavily on their cavalry. Their Nightline units come with an extra attack bonus against archers, and using every single upgrade from both the stable and the blacksmith, the Persians can field two unique cavalry units. The first is the strongest in the game, the Persian War Elephant, a unit that comes with a massive attack, a huge amount of hit points, and does trample damage, but is both super expensive and still overall kind of slow, despite being made a little bit faster recently. The second is the Savar, a heavy cavalry unit that replaces the Persian Paladin and does come with another additional attack bonus against archers. Now, to help support their cavalry, Persian archers and crossbows can be upgraded to turn them into trash units by making them cost only 60 wood, no gold at all. Or if you want to be more mobile with your ranged units, the Persians do now get Parthian tactics in Castle Age, an age earlier than every other player / civilization. Speaking of other players and other civilizations, let's take a look at MbL as the Ethiopians, a civilization designed to kill its opponents as fast as freaking possible. Their foot archers are the fastest firing foot archers in the game. Their onagers, scorpions, rams, and bombard cannons can all be upgraded to have an even bigger blast radius, and their unique unit is the very definition of a glass cannon. I am referring to the Shotel Warrior, a fast, incredibly strong, but overall kind of fragile infantry unit that trains in only 4 seconds once you upgrade him to his elite version. That helps strengthen their army on the field of battle. Both Ethiopian Shotel Warriors and their camel units can be upgraded to take less damage from all mounted units in the game, whether melee or ranged. No, sorry guys, as usual, got distracted this time by a javelina. And lastly, to support the Ethiopian military endeavors out on the map, they do get 100 food, 100 gold for free whenever they go up in age. They get the pikeman upgrade for free, which does save a player about 300 resources and does give them access to pikemen immediately upon reaching Castle Age. And their their economy is harder to raid because their outposts come with a massive +3 line of sight boost. I thought this villager was going to get this deer. Man, I don't think I've seen the deer this stubborn as we've seen in the last few games. But lastly, anyway, the Ethiopian outpost does come with a big boost to line of sight and also doesn't cost any stone, which means I expect to see a lot of outposts out of our Ethiopian here, as both players sitting on 18 villagers a pop are going up to Feudal Age. Good time for us to take a look at the map, just as Kasva is taking a look at MbL's map. MbL, primary gold, very exposed in the forward position, but primary stone and additional 2 piles of gold to the back. A little bit of extra stone also in the forward position. Forests, ooh, I mean, they're close to the town center. We saw recently forests that are super far away, so these guys are very close to the town center. Now, unfortunately for MbL, they are quite small forests. They're not exactly the biggest in the world, but luckily for him, these 2 primary ones are in the forward position, right as Kasva sneaks in here. This might be his doom. No, MbL a little bit too slow to wall him off on this side. Wonder what the point of this was if you weren't going to wall off the left side. But Kasva does escape after taking a tiny bit of damage and also meting out a tiny bit of damage. as he hits Feudal Age first. Let's take a look at his base. Primary gold and stone kind of off to the side. Gold a little bit in the side slash back position. Additional gold to the front. Additional gold to the back. And where is his secondary stone? Also right next to the gold in the back. So not terrible. Not his primary gold a little bit more secure than MbL's. The trade-off, I guess, is his two little forests are in the backwards position, which means the forward portion of our base is completely open. And by the way, this is not a long rush distance at all between these two players. And so, I mean, we are in feudal, but a map like this kind of does lend itself to a Persian town center drop. I'm not gonna say the colloquial name for the or the nasty name for what it's called, but it does lend itself these shorter distances to being able to destroy your own town center and try to get it up again in your opponent's face. But we are in feudal. That has not happened, as a few Ethiopian spearman line units are moving forward, trying to counteract perhaps some scout unit that he expects out of his opponent. And let's see, by the way, has MbL... Okay, so MbL has seen just the tip of the Persian base. He's seen the secondary gold, but it doesn't really know where all the resources are. And our Persian is already beginning to create a bit of a little dipper-shaped closing. Is he going to keep going? Okay. That's going to be very interesting. Will he fully wall this off, or will he leave a bit of an opening here, a funnel, so that MbL has to engage in a town center? MbL also, by the way, with the idea of, hey, let's just wall myself in. Spearman busting out. He must have seen these scouts come in. Let's see who gets to the villages first. Will it be these three scouts? Oh no, they are picking their berries. But MbL, good reaction time. A little bit of a confusing jumble behind this mill. Let's zoom in and try to look at the shadows. First blood going to MbL. Second blood as well. Gets all three scouts in exchange for only one villager. That's not terrible. Not terrible at all. 240 food for 50 food. I mean, you can... We always say this, the life productivity of a villager always has to be taken into account when they die early on. It's a lot of resources that one villager will not be gathering, depending on how long the game goes, but still just numbers for numbers in the immediate present, 240 food for 50 is not bad at all, as MbL now finally explores the inner sanctum of the Persian settlement. Will be able to escape through town center fire, not through the south. He hasn't seen that it's walled off yet. Oh, now it's fully walled off. Okay, so goodbye scouts. I don't know if he deleted them. I don't know if they got killed. It kind of looked like they died in synchronized suicide there. Let's take a look. Kasva, 4 kills. No, he got all 4 kills. Okay, so something killed it. Was it the town center? It has 2 kills. These scouts must have 1. Okay, so the town center gets 2. The scouts get 1. And our Persian now finds himself under 0 attack and pushing out into a big gap in the Ethiopian base here, but a gap being protected by a spearman. For some reason, the villager got a whack off at these scout units. The spearman way too slow. Is there another one still here with the berries? Yes, there is. Kasva is now going to discover that, hey, you took a page out of my book and you started walling yourself in. And the placement out of MbL of his spearman is absolutely fantastic on the eastern reaches of the settlement near the berries right here, literally protecting the berries. And then in the entrance to give advance warning to his army of any kind of incursion, any kind of attempted penetration. Nuh-uh, not today, says MbL, as his villagers take matters into their own hands. Wow. 5 kills apiece. It looks like Kasva did manage to get another villager there, though. Okay, so MbL is down 4 villagers at the moment. And our Persian, remember, now this town center works 10% faster in feudal, which means he is pumping out villagers 10% faster than his opponent. That being said, he's still just at a 4 villager lead. And let's take a look as the players disengage, as another spearman moves forward for our Ethiopian, what the players are actually going to build. We've got a blacksmith, an archery range, a stable, a baron. Okay, so Kasva, missing only the market, has literally gotten 1 of everything. MbL, by the way, discovers all of it, sees all 3. I was going to say 4, but only 3 of them are really military buildings. Discovers them immediately. Kasva, with his scouting, has seen a good amount, but hasn't seen Actually, no, never mind. He has seen everything. He's also seen the barracks, the archery range, and the stable. Hasn't seen the wall off here. Though, I say that, he doesn't really look like he's building an army that's aiming to penetrate that base anytime soon. These bipedal units, 3 spearmen, 4 skirmishers. So he's expecting some kind of archer transition, or perhaps the skirmishers are just here to zone out the spearmen. Remember, skirmishers were recently buffed to increase their attack bonus against spearmen from 2 to 3, and then I believe the elite version as well. But here come the Ethiopian foot archers. They don't need thumb ring. Take a look at their attack speed, 1.7 to start with, and then with thumb ring, they go to Mangudai level. Now imagine an archer that fires as fast as a Mangudai, but can be trained out of something other than a castle. That is just the super cool nature of the Ethiopians, allowing them to just gun you down. They're called machine gunners for a reason, and we're going to find out in 27 seconds if our Ethiopian commits, and it does look like he's committing to this. He's going 10 archers. I'm assuming the second he hits castle, he's going to try to go up to crossbows. But let's see, there's a good amount of skirmishers here. Spearmen for the scouts, skirmishers for the archers. The archers are on the high ground, and immediately the spearmen become pikemen. This is what I was referring to when I was discussing the civilizations earlier on. That ability, anytime you have something like this, it's super cool. I mentioned it for the Turks with the scouts, light cav hussars. I mentioned it for the Bulgarians with their militia line units. The Ethiopians also, although theirs is more of a limited automatic uptick. Not an uptick, what am I talking about? An upgrade. MbL is sacrificing a lot of these gold intensive archers to kill these very cheap trash skirmishers, and out comes a knight for our Ethiopian, and bye birdie, the entire Persian army is donezo. He has 0 army count right now. Back home, oh, Kasva thinks he's real safe and sound here. 1 town center, 2 town centers. He's not going for any stone at the moment. Focusing instead on his primary gold, which this scout is going to see immediately. And MbL now closes in with his somewhat weak-ish army. Now he's getting crossbows. There they are. Ooh, okay. I said weak army. I should have been more specific. Weak army to attack a structure with. The knight's pretty good, but the pikemen are not going to accomplish much. And here we go. Beautiful move out by Kasva, but let's see if he notices. Yeah, he's going to see the siege workshop. So he's going to know he's about to get pressed into hard as an Ethiopian camel comes out to deal with this Persian knight. Ooh, 1.35 tiles means that this camel's going to catch up, and 1 strike needed only to get rid of that HP. Pikemen are now chasing these knights around the map. Going to do a bit of a loop-de-loop if I had to guess. The name of the game right now for our Persian is distract and try to get your opponent to not attack into you, basically. You do not want his army supply, especially when you don't know what your opponent's army supply is. I mean, we know as with the God's eye view of the casters, but our Persian knows one thing, that he has 3 army supply and he's training a single mangonel. So he's going to just try to run around the map with these knights. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but there's about to come a mangonel. But the Ethiopian one's already on the high ground. Let's see if it stays there. I don't know. This kind of does look like a high ground ledge here. A little bit. Our Persian looks like he is trying to bust into the Ethiopian base there on the western side of MbL's wall off. But the more exciting events happening here. Oh no, he definitely must be on the high ground. If he took a mangonel shot and survived to tell the tale, that is definitely high ground. And it looks like these knights were cleaned up by a camel knight combo. And now there's literally, yet again, no Persian army. Kasva is going full on economy. So there are now ticking clocks. There are 2 swords of Damocles hanging over both of these players. MbL has to get critical damage done ASAP. Because look at his villager count. He's down 50% of the villager count. Whereas Kasva needs to get his economy up and running ASAP so that he can start pumping out a massive army to deal with this. So they're both under pressure of different kinds. Monks are being added for our Persian. He can't possibly be going relics. I mean, MbL is just everywhere here. He gunned down a villager with these machine gunners. And now cav archers are being added into the mix. Now, cav archers for the Ethiopians, I don't think get any kind of particular special feature, right? I think it's just their foot archers that attack faster. Yeah, just the basic 2 attack. In fact, cav archer is probably not the best play for the Ethiopians. I think they are missing Parthian tactics. Oh no. Oh no. Let's keep an eye on this. This is a lot of villagers, and Kasva displaying a very important lesson for us here. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for all of us watching, if you're going to create a little enclave for yourself, which we've seen, for example, Mr. Yo try to do a bunch of times, 2 conversions. Okay, that's a good get there for our Persian. But if you're creating a small enclave like this, and you're going to try to defend it from multiple angles, make sure your enclave at least includes some kind of wood. Because he is out of wood here. He is almost out of wood here, and he's about to get shooed away from this wood, which is why he sent his mangonel there. Kasva knows this is his last source of lumber, and there is no way he can go anywhere out on the map with these Ethiopian patrols everywhere. MbL needs to get ballistics. He is sniping villagers. He's killed 12 villagers so far. I mean, I made a big stink about this forest. Okay, MbL is sending units this way. So MbL is trying to bust down this town center, which against any other, I shouldn't say any other, against 99% of other civilizations would work, except you're dealing with the Persians. So right now, every other civilization, their town center would be dead. 2,800 HP has been taken off. Or no, actually 2,400, I should say, almost taken off. But the Persians' ability to survive this double mangonel onslaught is all due to that extra HP, double the HP. I'm struggling to think what the hell Kasva is trying to accomplish. He's got 41 villagers on wood. He needs wood. He is wood starved. I say he needs wood because he has no military production facilities here to deal with an army count that is 8 times bigger than his own. I mean, look, 8 times bigger. MbL's not really making use of this army count right now. Kasva does manage to get a mangonel, but loses his in the process. Focused so tunnel visioned on that villager. It looks like the mangonel here also shooing away MbL. So this is what I was talking about with MbL having a clock on his head. A sword hanging, whatever the analogy you want to choose, whatever the metaphor it is, he is under pressure to get shit done. Kasva, on the other hand, like we already saw, is under pressure to stop this from happening and get out an army of his own. He's got a converted crossbow here. I say converted because the Persians have only +1, the Ethiopians +2, and this crossbow's at a +2. It looks like the Mango Wars are going to stall out for a hot second. Oh, sorry about the zoom in, zoom out real quick. MbL's up to 20 villager kills. Now, this is definitely a win condition for him. If he can keep sniping villagers left, right, and center. One monk down, second monk down before he gets a single convert. And now it's enough to one-shot villagers. Oh, no. Oh, maybe not. MbL here. Oh man, these villagers plopping down a town center. They know they've got to have some kind of shelter to run to. MbL's got to be so careful here. Forget the mangonel. He is here to kill villagers. And even more crossbows come in. The kill count's up to 30 villagers. The knight moves in to try to get the mangonel. Will he get it? He does. But a little bit too late as the mangonel lays waste to the Northern Army, Northern Army group of crossbows. The southern ones are still here, and this is a very exposed woodline. MbL must see this. I mean, Kasva's base is about as risky a play as you can have. He is just expanding in all directions without providing the proper protection for his villagers. He has, for the 3rd time, 0 army supply. I say 3rd time because I'm not counting the first seconds of the game where everyone has at least a scout. Kasva's down to no army supply yet again. He's training a mangonel. Out of where? What am I missing? Where is the siege workshop? Why am I having such a difficult time seeing it there? Because it's wedged into here between the mill and a hard place. 33 villagers killed, and MbL is not done. He is going to find more, but Kasva's putting down a good amount of town centers. Now, should he be spending the stone on a castle, perhaps? I mean, look at this ridiculousness. This is crazy. He's getting lumber close to the mill. He's saturated. This is about as bonkers as you can get. Mango versus mango. Let's see it. Okay, blue loses 1 mangonel. Red has to be careful now with this extra HP of damage. He can't even afford to take a side attack like this. Ah, there you go. Even though that didn't land directly. Actually, maybe it did land directly on the mangonel because it also killed the villager. But MbL doing a good job softening up that mangonel. Let's zoom out. I mean, he's killing villagers to the north. Not really doing much with these guys to the south, but these guys to the southeast are also being able... 41 villager kills. Holy moly. Despite that, Kasva is still in the lead in villager count. But MbL just putting on an absolute sniper clinic for us. And I guess the army supply is kind of misleading because he's got, what, 12, 18, 20 army supply. I'm not counting the ram because I think it's moving towards battering down some structures. But 20 army supply is here out of 34. So he's really working with, I guess, 14 active military. I guess the 20 are in reserve units and haven't been activated yet. But you know what's better, or sorry, you know what's hard to do when you're dealing even with 14 army supply? Defend it with 1 army supply. And there it is. About to die to the knight. And if not the knight, then the mangonel. If not the mangonel, then the battering ram. If not the battering ram, at least some of these pikemen and a camel. But holy moly. MbL just unrelenting, using that incredibly lightning fast attack of the crossbows. Are they at 1.4? No, they're at 1.7 still. So no thumb ring for him. And also no ballistics. I mean, with thumb ring and ballistics, there would probably be 60 dead villagers instead of 41. But what a crazy game out of both players. Both of them taking massive risks. Although our Ethiopian playing a bit more of a standard game. So I guess he's not really taking risks. It's really our Persian, who for 3 moments in this game had literally 0 army supply. Expanding. Did he not expect MbL to aggress against him this much? Was he expecting perhaps a slower build out of our Ethiopian, who himself has 3 town centers? Not exactly a First Crusade Sicilian civilization here, where you can create units out of town centers for nothing. Shouldn't say for nothing, for the cost of the upgrade. What a horrible location for a tower, right next to the gold, by the way. At least move it 1 tile to the right. Wow, our Ethiopian just using these crossbows. 47 kills by our Persian, which, you know what, for a player that had 0 army supply for the majority of this game, 47 kills is not bad. Although I suspect, before I do this, I suspect a lot of this is in the town centers. Okay, 0, 5, 2, so we're up to 7, we're up to 11. 11 out of 47, a quarter of the kills are by the town centers. The rest, I guess, are all those early game cavalry units and these mangonels. But wow, MbL with 78 kills actually killed fewer military. Big surprise there. There was no military to kill. But 41 villagers at the 35-minute mark of the game. Kasva's economy, even though it's bigger, it used to be 50% bigger. Now it's about 10% bigger. And just a testament to MbL's just incessant nonstop raiding with these crossbow units. 12 mangonels, 52 crossbows. I mean, on a one-on-one fight, even with proper micro, these mangonels should probably win this. Peak APM for Kasva, clicking furiously at the beginning of the game. MbL, what's the 13-minute mark? What do we want to call it? Early middle part of the game? Economy is almost identical. No relics for anybody. Wood, almost identical. Food, it looks like our Persian got a lot more food. 2,200 food, but 2,200 less gold. And then 600 more stone for our Persian. Oh, man. He was so close to being able to put up a castle. If he could just get a castle somewhere, maybe next to the gold, maybe here. Or maybe on this hill if he had placed the castle. But I guess by the time he had the stone, this army was already here. Why was MbL not using this army, though? That's the question. I guess he was too busy microing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then whatever the hell back home he was getting. There's why he didn't have ballistics, because he didn't have a university up in time. I want to see the conversion count also, because I feel like our Persian got 3 or 4 conversions. Yeah, 3 conversions out of 80. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's like, what is that, 4%? Just under 4% of the Ethiopian army switched allegiances to the Persian side. But really, it's the biggest story here is these crossbows. 7 villager kills, 2 villager kills, okay, 0 villager kills. Okay, the mangonel's a little too fresh. Even he has 1 villager kill. It must have been that villager with the mangonel here. But what about these crossbows? Oh, sorry, I got the ones on the left. Only 1 economic kill. In any event, it doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter which specific crossbow. There is no MVP first medal that goes to any individual unit in this game. It is MbL with the non-stop villager snipes and Kasva with the completely open base, completely huge risk taking here, who managed to pump out, I mean, 81 villagers and 122 villagers in 35 minutes is basically something that you should expect out of a Persian with those quicker working town centers. Now 15% faster training time for villagers with those town centers in Castle Age. But that is not a bad villager count at all half an hour into the game. But unfortunately for him, MbL did not build up his economy. He chose instead to build these beautiful crossbows with their golden breastplates, who with those bolts managed to gun down, whatever the hell you want to call it, 41 Persian villagers. And Kasva he's got nothing to do. He's got nowhere to go. What's he going to do? He's going to garrison these guys? And then all of a sudden his economy goes to 0. Absolutely crazy snipering out of our Ethiopian. And with that sniper, with that crossbow sniper, it is our Norwegian MbL who is victorious. But GG in a fun game to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.